So, Erin, welcome to the show. I mean, what better way to continue having an epic day with someone with such a epic career as you? You know what I mean?
Well, thank you for calling my career epic. I appreciate that.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, welcome to the show, and jumping straight to the interview. Let's go back in time a little bit, and tell me, like, how this passion for acting started.
Um, well, as far as the passion for acting, I feel like, you know, as as little kids, I mean, how does I don't want to say every child starts out playing, but most children just run around and start playing on the playground and have imaginations and pick up dolls or for I don't want to say boys because it's boys and girls who pick up swords or things. We all use our imaginations and just play. And I feel like I did a lot of that as a young child. I did a lot of playing. I did a lot of imagination work. I did a lot of those things. I had a family full of my mom was a dancer, and I started dancing when I was 2 years old. And I did my first play, official play, school play, when I was 7. But I I feel like, even through that, I was creating my own plays. I was part of little musical theater groups, and it was just sort of a seed. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be an actor. It was just sort of something that kind of happened naturally. I don't think that I really thought like, oh, this is the career that I'm pursuing or anything. It was just more um, something that just kind of naturally started happening because I just had a huge wild imagination and believed, I didn't necessarily think that I don't know, dinosaurs are real right now, but I had a wild imagination believing that I could make a dinosaur come to life in front of me, or that the lava is real, and that I still can believe, like, oh, the floor is hot, the lava, and that's just something that's always been very active in my mind.
That's
So
amazing. I love it. I love it. And was it something else you wanted to do when you were little, or was it something, or was it always like acting, or things like that?
I feel like, because people think that acting is pretending, and I think that acting is being everything.
Hmm.
And that's, I feel like the key is I wanted to be everything. And I also wanted to be in spaces of reality that don't exist here on this planet. So I wanted to not only be, I wanted to be a firefighter. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a dancer. I wanted to be, I wanted to be everything. I wanted to be, but I also wanted to be, I wanted to be a princess. I wanted to be a sword fighter. I wanted to be I mean, you name it, from like the most girly girl characters to the strongest hero fighting people you can name. Like I wanted to be it all. I wanted to be not even human creatures. I wanted to be, I guess like they say, like you see in movies where we're all not human creatures, but like
Hmm.
an alien or this or that, like I wanted to be everything. So I guess when you say you wanted, what did you want to be when you grow up? I guess I wanted to be everything. And that's kind of how it started out, was when people are like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I guess it wasn't that, I wanted to be an actor, is that I wanted to be it all.
Hmm. And somehow you managed to do it, right? I mean, for like from all of the performances you have been here and there, you have got the chance to be so many, so many different things here.
I'd like to be more, but
Love it.
yeah, it's I feel like there's so much more to be and to create, and that sort of space. Sometimes my imagination can run a little wild, but uh yeah, I feel like I've definitely I've done a children's theater company, and that was really, like getting to do some puppeteering and stuff like that. So that can really create some space that way, as well as play some very I don't want to say normal people, but people a lot closer to who I am. So
Absolutely. Wow. Okay. Now, time went by, and yeah, but like I wonder, like, what were some of the like challenges, or like let's say challenges that you had when you were recently making those first steps into a professional acting career, let's say.
yeah, I guess in your professional acting career, when you first start out and stuff like that, it's people um say for the camera or whatever, people see you as you look like, unless if they're doing some regular like CGI or voiceover or this or that. And so I feel like the the great and the not so great things is people cast you as to what you look like. And so you can get roles because of how you look, but it can also be challenging because you can also be pinholed. And when you have a vast array of things that you want to be and do, it can be both facilitating in jobs that you get, but it can also feel like, oh man, but there's all these other things I also want to do. So, I feel like, and I know that I'm not the only person, but I feel like that can be a big challenge, is, just wanting to be able to play in more than just one area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, so how you usually prepare a character? Now I understand, of course, that it depends on the role, like every time, right? But like, do you have like a proper path you always take, or like, what is your usual approach for you to start on this journey?
Yeah. So I have a different approach per each project that I work on, and it really just kind of depends on the type of genre. It depends on the character and who, and like, okay, so if it's I feel like I look at the character and they kind of talk to me. I don't want to say they talk to me, but they kind of, I look at them and they, depending on how much time I have, but if say I have time with them, if they're really close to me, I find, similarities and differences. But because I've trained in viewpoints, the Chekhov technique, Stanislavski, various different areas, I'll take from various points and I'll be like, oh, this works, this works, this works, this works. But for this character, this does not work, this does not work, this does not work. And so I'll just use various types. And so because I'm a trained actor, I'll check into those things. If I'm doing comedy, I might start with timing. And so then I might be like, okay, so these are some of the words. And so I'll be like, okay, great. So I have a basis of the character, but then I'll also really check out the timing of things and be like, okay, so this is all super important, because if it's, say, Aaron Sorkin or something, that timing might be incredibly important. Or if it's a project, I might just, or a small role, I might be needing to serve a purpose. So it really just all kind of depends. If I have a big role, a main role, a small role, what is my purpose of the role in the project. If you have, I've been a series regular on Studio City, you have to know your role within the project, because you're not always the main person, and it's not always your turn to take over everything that we want to in theater and like everything like that. That's, when is it your time to shine? When is it your time to serve? When is it your time to do things? And you need to know where you belong in those things. But, when it's your time to shine, take it. But also, like, serve the project, serve the character, serve reality. So, as a smart actor, it's just about knowing everything.
Okay, I like it. I love it. And like, what is your goal? I mean, like, from each performances that you get the chance to get involved with, like, what is the goal you try to reach?
What is the goal? I feel like, what is the goal for each purpose? Right now, my goal, I feel like the goal keeps changing. Because I thought, I mean, the ultimate goal is to just, I don't know. I love acting. I want to keep acting. It's my I thought that it was about the destination, you know, like at first I was trying to get to I I started out with just the journey. As little kids, we have no other journey other than to do the journey.
Yeah,
You know, kids don't have an agenda. Kids have their destination is to get to the sandbox and play in the sand. That's their destination.
absolutely.
And I feel like somehow along the way, you know, whether it be young teens, teens, or whatever, all of a sudden, you know, we learn these things called um, awards, or even young children, 6, 7 years old. We learn about these things, these prizes that get taught, that these things have some weight to them, and that they carry importance and value, and that they place our value in the world. And that is that places our value on us as human beings, and that makes us important because we suddenly have awards, we suddenly have this, we suddenly have that. And I was raised with a lot of that. I was raised with a lot of I was the number one girl. I was the first place girl. I was the girl who I went home and it was just like trophy, 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 number one, number one, number one, you know? And I always won. And then I ended up on a show, which I'm so grateful for. I want to keep, you know, like I love those things, but awards should be given because that's what's, I don't know. I hit this whole thing of like, it's there because there's purpose for it. There is reason, there's purpose for it because it created a certain movement. But it's, I've just had a new like revelation of like, it's about the journey first, and then the destination occurs along the way. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then
absolutely. Yeah. Okay.
and then there's more to it. There's more rides. There's more, like there needs to be more journey, you know? And so where am I going? I'm going on a awesome ride with some really cool, you know, destinations along the way.
Absolutely.
And so I guess I just want to have a lot more amazing, cool opportunities and to be able to create art and hopefully, you know, support myself in the process and be a part of amazing projects and amazing people and keep growing as an artist. And hopefully, you know, those things that have like quote unquote, like, you know, destination stuff or projects that have those things, the reason why they get merit is because it has worth to it.
Totally. Okay. Wow. I like it. Now, let's say that one day I call you and then I tell you I want to become an actor. Now, I don't have any experience at all, like literally none. So what advice could you give to either me or someone who has no experience at all in acting, but is thinking about to start this journey?
I would say, you know, everyone learns differently. So there's not just one way to learn, but, you know, whether if you're a reader, pick up an acting reading book, or if you have no access to, you know, a lot of funds, then pick up and it doesn't mean visually, it could be audially, visually or audially, listen to a book, or I'm more audio. I like to listen, and have a, you know, audio, called tapes, but audio tape running or whatever. And, or take an online, you know, a Zoom class or in-person class, you know, study, train. Stanislavski is the core of all acting. Stanislavski is highly recommended. If you know nothing about acting, I would start with Stanislavski. And then from there, branch out to where you feel you belong, because there's so many other branches of Stanislavski from there. Because I can't tell any actor where they belong. There is a belonging into other branches, whether it be method or, you know, Hagen, or, I mean, you figure it out. Improv.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
But from there, figure out where you want to go. Or maybe it's multiple places like me. And then just like connect to people, connect to other artists, meet people, talk to them, find mentors. You know, there's you need more than just training. You need mentors, you need, you know, this and that, and just get to know more, get to feel it. You know, it doesn't mean that you have to have a full-time professional career, or maybe you will, you know. you
Totally.
don't you don't know. I think it was Morgan Freeman or someone who didn't start his career till he was like in his mid 50s.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I do believe that. I mean, of course, there are certain type of careers that you need to be at a certain age, right? I mean, especially like football players, basketball players, soccer players. But I do think like for acting, I mean, it doesn't really quite matter the age. You know, for example, I have interview one voice actress once that I think she was like on her mid 50s, and she was recently started to do voiceover. And like last year I was checking, and right now she has done like so many audiobooks. She's been nominated for this kind of like award, yeah, like award show, let's say. So I find that very interesting that for acting, your age is not really important as long as you have like the passion to it, but at the same time the conviction to continue pursuing it, right?
Yeah, I definitely feel it's, you know, as long as you have a conviction and want to go, and a passion and a desire, and also like I don't want to say not an agenda, but you just don't, just an open and willingness to take a journey of, you don't know where it's going to go, but just being willing to just kind of go, um, then it'll help.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, now, so yeah, so we all know you're an incredible talented actress, but tell me, like, has it ever happened, or like, what has been like the funniest audition you ever had, or and like, what advice could you give to new actors as well who are just recently started to doing auditions?
Well, I definitely have to say, you, I have messed up a lot, and you will probably mess up a lot.
Okay.
The point is to I don't want to say mess up, but make mistakes.
Hmm.
Um, be willing to be bad. Um, stay flexible.
Okay.
Uh, I think my, not, I think my very first network audition, I was so nervous that I couldn't talk.
Hmm. Okay.
And I had to say two of the words within it were Gruber Pharmaceuticals.
Oh. Okay.
And I was so nervous that I couldn't get out the words Gruber Pharmaceuticals.
Hmm.
And so whenever we got up to the words, I just said, I don't want to remember the whole dialogue or words, but I was like, Pharmaceuticals.
Oh my god.
Pharmaceuticals. And so then they said, Pharmaceutical. And she kept on casting liked me, like they really liked me, but they couldn't, like, she kept on giving me another chance because she was a really nice casting director. And you know, she could sense that I was just really nervous.
Hmm.
And I was like, my hands were shaking, my palms were shaking. I was in there and I was like, pharmaceutical. And after like a couple of takes, she just knew that it wasn't going to happen. And we just looked at each other, and she was like, do you need to go? And I was like, yeah.
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 Wow.
And I grabbed my purse and I just about tripped out the door.
Hmm.
I like had grips in my hands, and I was like, I'm never gonna work. I'm never gonna work in this town. I was like, I've worked in theater, I've done so many shows, I've traveled, like, why can't I talk? Like, I
Yeah.
could not talk. And I thought, I am never gonna work in this town. I thought she literally was gonna pick up the phone and call people and tell them how bad I was.
Hmm.
And that's not true. Like, nobody, like, it's not the end of the world. She
Totally.
probably thought I was an idiot, but it wasn't the end,
Hmm.
you know. Like, it was fine, everything turns out fine, you know.
Perfect.
She did stop casting not too long after then. So I was like, man, did I ruin her? No, I didn't.
Maybe you broke her, right?
Did I break her? No, but yeah. So anyways, no, but what I am saying is like you know, you will get more chances. Casting will see you. Like again, I have been called into casting multiple times, you know, for different stuff, and you know, I haven't had such tragic auditions after then.
Wow.
I didn't do that. Like I went and I, you know, talked to someone, and that was like probably the most tragic, horrible audition I've ever had. And you know, I worked and I worked and I worked, so I would not do that again. Um, yeah.
Okay, okay. And like whenever you're about to do a new audition, does that memory comes back or not at all?
Um, no, I think at first like it really like it was really hard on me because I was like, why did I do that? Like I can act. Like it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like I can't talk. It wasn't like I can't say Gruber Pharmaceuticals. It wasn't like, you know, I just, you know, I still stutter. Like I still like, you know, but it's still like I just um I it was just severe anxiety at the moment. And I was like, what was in, you know, what got me so anxious in that
Yeah.
moment? And is which is hilarious because as soon as I'm on set, I relax.
Mm.
I'm not scared on set. When I'm on set, I'm like, ah, this is home.
Mm.
I belong here. You know, like it's
Yeah.
completely different. The room is so much scarier for me. Um,
Mm.
it's not like the room, like it's not like the room is this way and then the set gets this way. It's like the room is this way and like set is like cool. I like it here. I belong here, you know, like it's different. It's I like set more than um acting is easier for me than interviewing. Acting is easier for me, you know, like it's or more comfortable, I'll say. I don't know if it's easier. It's more comfortable.
Totally.
Um it's more comfortable than auditioning. It's, you know, so it's just I don't know. I
Yeah.
like it. I
Yeah,
like it.
but yeah, and you know we all have those days, right? That even though we have done something for so many years now, or we have like practices over and over and over and over. I mean, it happens, you know. It has happened to me a few times now that there was this interview. I planned it. Everything was just working perfectly, and then the minute of it, I just got stuck, and the rest of it, I have to like drag myself along to kind of make it the best as possible from the inside. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? So I understand that that feeling. That after it, I was thinking like what the hell, you know? Like I've been interviewing this like so many people now, and I got stuck out of nowhere, you know. And I do what I ended up doing is like 5 or 10 minutes before having an interview, I will kind of calm myself down, you know, kind of chill to be like, okay, I have nothing to do now, just need to focus on this, and let's make it happen. Otherwise, yeah, on those situations, for example, I remember that I was just like as you were saying, like anxious, or you know, like I was thinking of something else, and it's horrible when that happens, especially when you're live, because you're like seeing people like tuning in, and you're like, oh crap, what am I gonna do now? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So it happens. I mean, everyone
Yeah,
has their human moment, and you know, you just learn, oh, okay, that's a learning experience. This is
totally.
how I'm going to do better, and this is how I move forward. And you know, you just keep getting up and going forward. But
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're humans at the end, right? I mean, we
yeah.
do make mistakes here and there, so yeah, it's fine. But so let's say that you get the chance to go back in time and meet the 13-year-old version of yourself. What advice would you give to that little version of you?
Hmm. 13-year-old version of me. Um, man, I had a lot going on. I had acne when I was 13.
Oh,
Um, really bad acne. And I was shy and I was so not cool. Um,
okay.
um,
Okay.
I would just man, I would just, say hang in there.
Mm,
Stop, like, don't worry about everyone else, you know?
mm.
It's don't worry about people's opinions, breathe. I actually would probably just say just keep breathing. Don't worry about what other people say, do your thing.
Yeah.
And I would just say do what you want to do, actually. Because when I was 13, I was trying to fit in really hard.
Mm.
That's what I was doing. Was I was really trying to fit in. I was bullied when I was 13. And I was trying so hard to fit in with everyone else so I wouldn't be bullied. And I wish I didn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. Because at the end, you're starting to be somebody else, But in order for you to fit in, you stop being like yourself and having the chance just to be the real you when you get home. I mean, it does get frustrating, and it does get sad, and it does get kind of a little bit depressed, the fact that you're scared for to show everybody the real you, because you know that probably they're not gonna like it, and they're gonna bully you. And at the same time, it's kind of a shame that you discover that later on, as you grow up. You discover like what the hell I was thinking. I was fine. I could have been alone, but at least happy about it, and be the real me, so then later on, friends will came, and I will know that they actually like me for the real version of me, instead of something else that I've been trying, like a Frankenstein that I've been trying to work on, or like a mask, to kind of shield myself for being vulnerable, I'd say.
Yeah, vulnerability is key. And you really need that to be an actor, is to be completely um, I mean, as an actor, you need to be transparent. Your
Mm.
character might not be transparent. Your
Yeah,
character might
totally,
have all sorts of layers of,
totally.
trauma or not trauma or whatever whatever is happening. Sometimes it's depending on who or what you're playing. But there was definitely a lot of I don't want to say fake self because it wasn't that, but just having to conform or feeling I needed to conform to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end, when you're like a teenager, you don't know. I mean, you do what you think is best, right? And I do think that whenever you are in this process, later on, you discover why did I care about it, which is fine. But like, my point here is that at the same time, having the chance to later on discover the real you, it's an amazing feeling, right? I mean, it's really, it feels like a blessing to have the chance now to be like, I know who I am. If people like it, cool. If people don't like it, F it. I don't care. And I will just do my thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's the most authentic thing you can do. It's wonderful as an artist to go on your path, but it's also it's an offbeat path at the same
Mm.
time. So
Yeah.
you kind of go, okay, well, not everyone gets it. But the rewards are, you get to do some really cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Now, let's say that one day Netflix, HBO, Disney Plus, Paramount, I mean, you name it, they call you. And then they tell you, we need to make a film. But here's the thing. So it's going to be a film in which all of the characters you have played at the moment, since day one until today, they're going to gather for your birthday. Tell me, what would be the name of that film?
They're all gonna gather for my birthday. They're gonna the name of the film. Oh man. It's gonna Happy Amazing Confuddlement. I don't know.
Okay.
Crazy. um, yeah, I have no idea. That is uh Erin's Amazing Wild Ride.
Okay. Okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. By the way, if you hear dog noises in the background, I mean, I live with three dogs, so no matter how many tries I try to keep everything quiet, even if like the fly passes near the house or like something passes near the house, they just get crazy and start barking. So, but
Yeah.
anyway, getting back here, I'll take that name. But tell me, like, what would it be? Would it be like a dramedy or comedy or like a horror or what would it be? Like, what genre would be your film?
It would be like a dramedy rom-com.
Okay.
It would definitely be like romantic comedy with like, but it would be a, it'd be a, yeah, but with like action, like, it would it would be a rom-com, but there'd be like
Mm,
some action in there and, you
okay.
know, running around and just like a fun, crazy, fun, good. It was my life. Yeah, it would be a dramedy, rom-com,
Mm,
action, like, yeah.
I love it. I mean, who knows? You know, when I made, who knows? Maybe at some point you will get the chance to see that, and I will definitely be watching that. You know, that sounds pretty cool. But now, if you had to choose one of your characters to go out for some drinks, which one would you choose and why?
One of my characters
So it's your character and you for some drinks.
that in my movie life or real.
In your whole acting career, if you could choose like any character that you have played to go out with for some drinks, which character you would take?
Man, that's a good question. I I would probably, yeah, I definitely would probably go out with my character Shirley from Shirley and Shelley.
Okay.
Um, and it would, I don't think that I would want to be with her all the time, but she'd be fun for some drinks.
Okay. I like it. Now, if you had to describe your whole acting career, either on a drink or a meal, which one would you pick? It could be, by the way, for the drink, it can be either alcoholic or non-alcoholic. That's fine. But like, what would you choose?
um, my acting career would, it's definitely turning into a meal.
Okay.
It's getting bigger and bigger.
Hmm.
I
What
want
kind
to
of meal?
like it's turning into a holiday meal
Oh, okay.
where I can invite everyone to the table.
Hmm. So we're talking like a turkey or something like that, right? Like something big.
Yeah, something big.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
it's not there yet. But it'd be like a vegan turkey.
I mean, it's still cooking, right? Still cooking.
Yeah, it's still cooking. It's
There you
still
go.
cooking. It's on the way. Like
There you go.
it's like in the making.
Okay. Okay. And like, what motivates you? You know, we all have those days that we just want to quit. And even though things might be normal or nothing bad happen, we start to get inside into like this toxic bubble, let's say, and you just want to quit. So I wonder, like for you, what gets you out of it? You know, what puts your feet back on the ground and continuing on this journey that you have been created for so many years now?
Um, what's strange that the thing that motivates me is I'm like, oh, I always see me when I'm like 100 years old.
Okay.
And then I rewind my life.
Mm,
And, when I want to quit, it's like if I quit, I'm not happy with what I see if I quit.
okay. And what you see?
when I so when I see myself when I'm like 100 or 105 and I die
Mm.
or old, all I see is ancient. I don't know how old I'm going to be, but I
Yeah.
just, old and wrinkly and, I don't know, happy. Like if I want to be old and wrinkly and happy and that sort of thing, I just see like, just someone with amazing, awesome adventures and someone who's just done so much like art and has been on like movies and TV shows and was like, can rewind and be like, yeah, I did that. I did that.
Mm.
I did that. Yeah, I did that. That's pretty dang cool. Like,
Yeah.
like if it was in like, on your tombstone when you're dead and be like, oh, like on the tombstone would be like, I did that. Like
I like it. I
it's
like it.
it's like, I don't know. And it's just that's sort of the thing rather than like the typical, I don't want to say typical, but like some people want to have, like I look at, for example, my one of my grandmas who's just like, they call her baby whisperer.
Okay.
She loves it.
Mm.
That's her thing. Like when she passes, for her I did that is she raised them, that's her I did that, where she has like a million grandchildren and raised them and did, she did that, she has all these like little babies that she wanted to carry in her arms and did that. Like that's her I did that.
Mm.
But like that's not me. For me, that's like that that's not like, not that that can't be part of the path, but like that's not the path. And so I always have to that's how I look at it, is I always start from my oldest and look backwards.
Mm. I like it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And also, I mean, yeah, it does. I can understand that because whenever you feel like quitting, you would just take a second and be like, if I stop doing it, eventually I'm gonna regret it, and then one day when I get older, I'm gonna be that typical person, say I should have done this instead of that, or why did I quit? I could have go the other way around instead of, like that is like one of the things that I do try to repeat myself every day, to be sure that at the end of the even at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
having the chance to say I did what I wanted today, I like everything that I planned, I did it, and that's cool. Let's see what happens tomorrow. And at the end, like for me, my main goal would be kind of the same, to have the chance to just sit back in the porch and be like, I did what I wanted, I did everything I got into my mind, I did it. I'm cool now I just chill.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely finding those things that are most important. And like, granted, there's only so much you can do in one lifetime. It's hard to get everything done and do everything you want. It's like, man, I want to do that too. I want to do that too. I want to do that too. There's like so many things. So, there are like choices that you have to make all at one time, but you want to do as much as you can.
Absolutely. I mean, and now that you mentioned that, what would be one or two things that you have on your bucket list?
Bucket list. I don't like making an exact bucket list because I feel like if you make a bucket list, then it can send you up for like depression if you don't get there. I don't know. I feel like I've definitely started with a couple, bucket list things, but like I'm having to reevaluate exactly bucket lists, what those are and what they mean and where they belong, because some things are things that you can actually, they are in your control to check off, and some things are not in your control to check off.
Totally.
So it's like what is what is, so those are things that I need to, like, look at and do, and what are things that you can, what are things that are in your control and what are things that are not.
Totally, totally. And like my last question here is, what advice could you give to those who wants to start something new? Like, it's difficult, of course, and sometimes it's yeah, sometimes it's way too hard, because even on your family they would advise you not to do it. So what advice could you give to those who either want to start acting, or want to start doing something in the arts in general, acting, music, like all of that? Like, what advice could you give to those who are on that process, that should I do it, or should I not do it?
Well, if you just want to do it, then just do it. You don't have to do it professionally. It doesn't need to be like your full-time job. Just, you don't have to move to California to be a professional actor. You can act wherever you want. You can play music wherever you want. You can do something, like, you don't have to convince your family of anything. Even if it's your secret thing that you want to eventually move somewhere, you can just be like, no, I'm just doing this once a week to have some fun. Trust me, the family will be like, oh, okay, cool, they're just doing a play for fun. And you just keep doing plays for fun until eventually you've been doing that for a few years and they're like, are they doing this for real? Like, what are they doing? And all of a sudden you have a built up resume, and then 5 years later, you then started doing some TV. Like, you don't have to tell anyone, or even, you don't even have to have a plan. Don't make a plan. Don't make an agenda, because you might discover you love it, or you might discover you don't love it. You don't know. So you don't know until you start doing something. So make no agenda, just start.
Preach. I love it. That is so cool. I love it. Yeah, it's simple. I love it. I mean, at the end, what can I say, Erin? I mean, your career, as I said before, it's amazing. I love it. I mean, it's more than obvious, of course, that eventually we're gonna see you in more and more projects, and to a point that everybody's gonna know about you. I mean, we're talking people from Argentina to Japan. I mean, it's everybody, because the fact that you're doing it because you love it, as simple as it may sound, like whatever they would say, oh, do what makes you happy. We all know that it's a kick in the butt, basically. Like, it takes years, and sometimes even your whole lifetime, to discover what you want to do. And the fact that you discovered it, that you have been involved in so many things now, that you are making it happen. I mean, it's more than, it's a proof, like, to all of those who are on this moment in their life to try something new, that it is possible. And here you are. I mean, you making it happen. And yeah, it's epic what you do, basically.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. I also want to thank those who are watching this either here, here on YouTube, or listening in later on Spotify or Apple Podcast. I mean, at the end, make sure to go follow Erin, like, right now, to her social media. I mean, yes. The video is done, so you can close this, but the link is gonna be the link to her social media is gonna be in below. So just click it, follow her, leave a million likes. Why not? I mean, let's make her viral. Hashtag team Erin. She's badass. She's awesome. And Erin, thank you so much. Have an incredible rest of the day, an incredible upcoming weekend, and I'll definitely be seeing you in the next one.
Yes, thank you. You as well.
All right.